Welcome to the Entrepreneur Podcast, where we take a look inside the lives of the accomplished and successful businessmen and women. We'll get up close and personal with the founders of booming startups. So lean in and prepare to carry away something to skyrocket your own business. Please subscribe to our show and do leave us a review. It means a lot to us. Now, here's your host, Rajiv.
Hey listeners, welcome to the Entrepreneur Talk Show. I am your host Rajiv Unikrishnan, and this is the show where we talk about entrepreneurship and speak to great founders, entrepreneurs and investors. Today we have with us Richa Singh, co-founder of Yourdost. Welcome, Richa.
Thank you, Rajiv.
So at Yourdost, they provide an online counseling and emotional support platform designed to foster mental wellness. So brief intro on Richa. She's an engineer from IIT Guwahati and using her technology skills to build a support system to help people deal with stress. Prior to this, she worked in product in '09, Musigma and Webfluenze. Again, Richa, welcome to the show. Do let us know what's going on in your world today and do fill in the gaps, if any, in the intro.
I think you've given a perfect intro.
All right. So what's going on in your world today? Generally, other than work.
I think the work is the highest priority, given that the kind of topic we are dealing with, which is helping people deal with stress and the way our economies are rising, the way the lifestyle is going. Stress has become really a lifestyle for all.
Correct. So before
Can we create something? Yeah, please.
Go ahead.
So, can we create something which would also help people to deal with that lifestyle?
Got it. And before we get into like the product, any passions outside of work for you?
I'm passionate about a lot of things.
Okay.
One of the things very strongly about playing sports.
All right. Great.
I love playing TT. I love swimming. I also am on the creative side, which is like painting, drawing, writing. Those are the things that I'm very, very passionate about.
Great. Moving on to the inevitable question is what inspired the idea for Yourdost?
Rajiv, even if you would look at Yourdost, it's not one of those very conventional company that we're trying to build.
Correct.
I think it started mostly by a personal experience of mine and my co-founder. Very personal experience when I was in college, like you said, I was at IIT Guwahati. I had a friend of mine who committed suicide.
Okay. Oh, okay.
She anticipated she would not get a good placement much before the placement actually started. And all the while we had counselors, psychologists, even psychiatrists at the campus. But the thing was, nobody was approaching them. In a campus of 7,000 people, they would hardly have like five people approaching them in an entire year.
Mm-hmm.
That's what me drift into the subject, because I have always felt the pressure myself while I was preparing for IIT, while I was at IIT, parental expectation to relationships falling apart. Right? And I could see a lot of people around me going through a tough time, but we were never able to go out because it was like, what will others think of me? What will others say of me? They might make fun of me, and so on.
Correct.
Then I started talking to a lot of people. Is it something that only I have felt, or have they also felt something similar? To my surprise, around 95% of my friends said that they have felt the pressure themselves, but they were never able to go out and seek support or talk about it, so to say. Then I started working. I was working at DE Shaw. And that's where I met my co-founder Puneet, and Puneet and I had a discuss what is that I observed and what is that was going in my mind. And Puneet also had a similar instance with himself of not getting placed on the first day and going through a lot of pressure because of that, where he sort of related to what I was saying. And then we started doing a lot more research with thousands of people we did not know, to understand. And here also, to my surprise, around 90% of the people said that they have felt the pressure, wanted to go to a professional, but you know what? They were never able to go out because what will friends think of them? What will family say if they go out? Then I started talking to a lot of counselors, psychologists, given that I don't come from this field myself,
Correct.
to see if, what do they do and why is there so much of stigma around seeking help from them. I think with all the things that went, and this went for quite a few years. This incident happened in 2008. I started only in 2014. So I think that helped me understand with all this research that, the way our economies are growing, the way, from all these research, there were few things that came out very strongly. The way our economies are changing and the way our aspirations and expectations are very high. Right? We all want to have like a billion-dollar company by the age of 50 or a house by the age of 25, which all leads to increase in stress levels.
Correct.
The natural support system that we all had earlier in the form of aunts, uncles, grandparents staying with us is not there anymore, right? We are all working on our own, trying to live on our own, trying to figure things.
Yeah.
To add to it, culturally, there's so much stigma in our society that we don't go out and seek support. It's more like a sign of weakness. It's for not so healthy people.
Correct.
And even the WHO report says that 1 out of every 4 person is going through some sort of mental unrest. That's a lot of people, right? And I'm sure you would have gone through some sort of pressure yourself, or you would know somebody going through a pressure.
I've gone through it myself. I've gone through it myself. So.
So that it's not a small population that is.
Yeah.
So I think all this, we realize that today we are more connected than ever before. But we are really connected to like and upward, not really to share our emotions.
Correct.
And that is what we wanted to change. Right? So, and we realize that if we have to impact lives on a scale, it has to be a technology solution. And with that, we started out Yourdost.
Okay. And what would the vision be for the company?
We want to create like an emotional wellness coach for people. By that I mean like how we all have a fitness trainer and there's no stigma, nothing associated with it, right?
Yep.
Who helps us to be more physically fit. Can there be an emotional wellness coach which helps us to be emotionally well and be a better version of ourselves, like be more confident, have better relationships, have better work-life balance and so on. And this coach is not just a person on the other side, but it's a combination of people and technology.
Okay.
And where it's proactive rather than reactive. Something happens to you, that's when you reach out. Can the coach know that something is going to happen with you and they can reach out themselves?
All right. Got it. So, I mean, when you thought of the idea, was it only you and Puneet to take it off the ground, or you all had any other co-founders also?
So it was me, Puneet, and Satyajit. Satyajit is my another co-founder. Satyajit and I used to work out of. Satyajit works out of US.
Okay.
So he was a very strong support in developing the technology, the initial bit initially, and then Puneet also quit his job and he was on it full time, and then it all started.
Great. So coming to the product, I mean, you have various content and discussions on career counseling, relationship advice, amongst other things, to provide guidance to the individual. So, I mean, how does the entire product work? I mean, how does Yourdost work for, let's say, a user comes to your site?
User can be Yourdost. I think it's a platform where people could anonymously seek support or guidance from these group of experts who are counselors, psychologists, career coaches, life coaches, and so on. So people can just come and take a handle, be completely anonymous, and say that they want to discuss about their relationship, they want to discuss about their career or personality or whatever the topic be, and get into a one-to-one session either in the form of text-based chat, voice call, or video call with the expert on the other side. On top of it, we also have a lot of peer-to-peer discussion on that discussion forum, which sort of it's more like, see, if I know there are other people also going through something similar, I feel much better. I'm not the only one in the world.
Got it, yeah.
And another layer being, we write, given that it's a topic where 95% of the people in the country have never taken counseling before.
Correct.
So we write stories, we celebrate a lot of these superheroes, brave spirits, or people who went through difficult times and came out better, or do a lot of psychoeducation on how there are 10 tips to improve your concentration, to take a personality test to know what kind of personality you are, how addicted are you to internet, or smoking, or whatever it is.
Okay, got it.
It's not self-help layer. Then we have community that is there, and the third, which is the core, is the one-to-one session with the expert.
Okay, got it. So you have a set of experts, professionally trained, who help the individual cope with tough times. So how do you select the experts to come on board?
So we have an internal team of some in-house counselors.
Okay.
These are very qualified psychologists and coaches that we have in-house. So the first level is even our BD team, which is there is consisting of psychologists.
Mm-hmm.
So they look for more counselors, psychologists, career coaches. Get them in for a sort of a recruitment process where they are. There's a mock session that happens, and
Okay.
a in-house counselor or in-house psychologist from our team takes their interview.
Okay.
If they are in, then they are given a training. They are because even though these people are trained, but not many of them have taken online counseling before.
Correct.
So most on what are protocols and certain basic training is given to them, and then they are kept under supervision for a longer time.
Mm-hmm.
So that we know how we are monitoring them continuously to see how they are doing. Once that looks good, that's when they are allowed to be on the platform.
Got it. So you have features like, I mean, you're available 24/7. I think you have over 600 experts now on your site. You have text, video, and voice calls, correct? So out of all these three options, like text, video, and voice, what's working the best for you?
So right now it's text.
Okay.
Also because voice and video is something that we have recently started.
Got it.
So texting will also the kind of population we are dealing with, I think, again goes to the same fact that there's so much stigma in the society that people are more easily able to try out on a text session. And also used to so much of WhatsApp kind of chatting kind of a thing. So I
Correct.
think that works out the best right now.
Got it. So you're also entering into the B2B space. I mean, you have IIT Guwahati as one of your clients also. So how is the B2B space growing for you?
B2B space is going well. I think we are not very actively going after B2B, even though we've recently started that as well.
Correct.
Which is more like, there are a lot of, so we are going after right people, I think. Let me try to put it this way, Rajiv.
Correct.
People who really care for their either employees or their students and so on, right? Who really want somebody's life to.
Got it.
We're not going for the corporates for whom employee wellness is just like a tick in the checkbox. But
Got it. Yeah.
people really do care.
Got it. So, like in terms of revenue, you're charging for voice and video, and of course for private sessions. So, what other channels are there for revenue for you?
So you're right. We charge them for audio sessions,
Okay.
and we do have few corporate clients where the corporate pays for their people.
Got it. I mean, so India, in terms of the market, India is one of the largest number of has one of the largest number of depressed individuals as per the WHO. I mean, so that's in a way bad, but in a way good for growth strategy at least. I mean, you'll are witnessing at least 3,000 plus visitors daily and around 800 sessions per day. Is that still growing at a staggering rate for you all?
It is. But I would like to add here, Rajiv, it's not the depressed people only that we are looking at,
Okay,
right?
okay.
We understand that's part of the segment for us. But see, it's for regular people like you and me who might be going through a tough phase.
Correct.
Or we might want to improve ourselves. We have realized that, what my relationship with my husband is not that great, or I could make it better, right?
Correct.
A lot of people are either self-conscious or they are going through a difficult phase or a low phase in their life. May or may not be clinically depressed,
Got it. Okay.
but it prevents them to actually move towards something which is clinically depressed. So we
Yes.
catch them early on.
Okay.
Because once they are under depression or they are already clinically depressed, it's less that we can do, right? We
Yeah.
need to help them through medicine and counseling together.
Okay. So you have other sites like, I mean, other products like your eSci Clinic, you have O Woman ER, and you have Mumbai's Type A. I mean, they all seem to be in that anonymous counseling space. So, I mean, how is your product they all are good for society, but how is your product different from them or better than them for that matter?
Rajiv, our approach is very different.
Okay.
If we even the kind of content that we do or the kind of we believe, see, it's not a space where it is about bringing doctors online or psychologists online and you
Correct.
can speak to them, right? I don't think we look at it. We want to create that ecosystem.
Got
An
it. Okay.
ecosystem which creates that awareness, which is about storytelling, right?
Yeah.
If you feel that you are rather from this story, you're more likely to either take counseling or take steps to improve yourself. You can take counseling, you could do other things as well.
Okay.
And we believe in that ecosystem, that awareness, rather than it's not about like having a clinic where people could just come online and or it's an online clinic where people could just take support from experts on the other side, because we believe that 95% of people don't even know that either they need help or what is counselors for that matter.
Yeah, that's true. So moving on to funding, y'all were initially bootstrapped, then y'all in 2015 raised around 400K from likes of, I think Panindra was there from Red Bus, there was Apramya from Taxi for Sure, Anish from Capillary. Then you did a follow on, I think recently I think in June or something, for 1.2 million from Seth and the existing angels. So how is that? Of course, the second round would be based on your first round, but how was the getting the initial angel? Was it tough?
It was tough, Rajiv, getting any funding.
Yeah.
But I think it's slightly different here because even if you would see, we have some of the best investors that are present in the ecosystem.
Absolutely. Yep.
And it's also one of the reasons that the kind of business we are in, it's not something that exists anywhere else, right?
True.
It is a long term thing. It is a thing which requires behavioral change. So it required us also to show people that, or people who believed in that kind of a vision, who believed that there could be something like this, and there is a huge market for it out there.
Okay.
So I think that part, that's why if you would see, we have got some of the best names in the industry because those were the people who could believe in the vision.
Correct.
It was difficult. It started with Sanjay Anandram. He used to be our mentor. We met him a couple of times, uh, actually multiple times, to show him what at least what we were thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day he said, you know what, I would be interested. I think that was one of the milestones for us.
Great.
And then he introduced us to a lot more people, and then we got many more people.
Okay. So what are you going to use the funding primarily for? Is it going to be for marketing, operations, or hiring individuals? What's it going to be for?
One, building the team.
Okay.
Team through which we could scale. I think we didn't have a lot of senior people in the team.
Correct.
Getting that senior people who could help us scale, that has been one. Another being, of course, to increase awareness, to let more people know, not just about Yourdost, but to increase awareness about mental well-being and the importance of it.
Got it. And what's your team size currently at?
So we've used some bit of our funding to actually build that team. So now when we raised, we were around 20 people. Mm-hmm. Now we are 36 people now.
Oh, excellent. All right. So looking at the space in India, what are the key challenges faced by startups? Especially like startups like y'all, which deal with the space of emotional well-being and health, etc.
Two answers to it here. If you were asking what are the major challenges faced by a startup like us, actually Yourdost, would be around increasing awareness, because we are dealing with a topic which is not something that people have given much consideration to till now.
Correct.
So I think the issues that we deal with is very different. Is mainly around those topics.
Okay.
It's also around a lot of things in psychology, because psychology and coaching that we are dealing with, it's not very standardized.
Yeah.
The regulations are not very clear. The policies are not very clear. So for everything, we have to do it from the scratch.
Correct.
From the courses to even giving people training, even though they are very well qualified, we have to do it to meet our standards. I think Those are our problems. I don't know if that is the problem of every other startup as well.
Okay.
Right? It's probably because the way our market is very unorganized. The
Yeah.
supply
Yeah.
is very unorganized. And on the demand side, it's a very latent demand. It's not something people were used to ever.
Correct.
So the behavioral change that we are trying to bring.
Okay. So
But
moving. Yep. Go ahead.
just to answer your question, for startup ecosystem in general, so from what I see and what I hear from one being easy access to funding,
Yeah.
which in 2 years I do have seen which has become better. By that I mean there are a lot of accelerators, there are a lot of these programs which have come up,
Yep. Correct.
which helps you in certain ways.
Yep.
Like if I were to think to start like 5 years earlier, it was a lot difficult because you wouldn't know anything.
Yeah, that's
If
true. Yeah.
a young entrepreneur who has not seen all the functions of a company, it was very difficult. But now there are so many programs that helps you train on all those aspects that it is slightly easier. But
Yep.
entrepreneurship is never like easy as
Oh,
such.
that's true. Absolutely. So moving on to, I mean, you've had corporate jobs before. So when did you
Right.
know you were meant for entrepreneurship?
Honestly, Rajiv, I'm not really like an entrepreneur. I
Okay.
Um, I fell in love with the problem. Right? And believe me, I've been with this problem from 2008 as the first time it
Yeah.
triggered me.
Yeah. Correct.
And I couldn't just let it go. Every time I would think of something, it would just like be standing right there.
Hmm.
Why are you doing something about it? You have been thinking about it, you have been like writing about it, you have been talking about it, but you're not doing anything about it. Right? And
Correct.
that's 2014. I was like, okay, let me just quit my job. I still remember in 3 days, all I did was I told my boss that, you know what, I have to do this. It's just my conscience is not letting me do anything else.
Yeah.
And it's less about, you know what, I want to be an entrepreneur, so find a problem and then try to find multiple problems.
Correct.
Right? It was more like the problem has found me and I just couldn't let it go.
Okay.
So that's when I decided to
Got it.
quit.
I mean, so over time, who's inspired you the most?
Multiple people into multiple directions. Which direction would you want to hear first?
Any one person who you think inspired you the most? Okay, let's say business.
Interesting. So see, I think my inspiration from a lot of people, right? Again, the awareness part, the storytelling part, I take a lot of inspiration from Barack Obama.
Okay.
I think he's done a phenomenal job over the years he was there. Then I take a lot of inspiration from Sir Ratan Tata.
Okay.
I heard him talking and with the humility and the way he wants to solve a problem. And
Correct.
does not psych it.
Correct.
Awesome.
And
Then in
what's
growth story, I take inspiration from lot many people. It's not about just solving
uh-huh.
problem at a very small scale, but really like going out and solving it for all.
Got it. And what would you say is some of the best advice you've received over time?
Yeah, so so you would receive a lot many advices on the way, but the one that you resonate with from inside is the one you should go.
Okay, great. So what's something that really that's getting you and the team really excited at present? Any new feature or launch coming up?
Oh, we are actually. For the new year, we are trying to do these programs for New Year resolution.
Okay.
Like each one of us actually take a resolution, but actually 8% of us end up
Oh,
keeping it.
oh yes.
Right? So how we, because we are all about emotional well-being, and the resolution we take is always for our own well-being. It's just that we don't get that guidance and support to be able to, or the motivation to keep you to keep up with it.
Hmm.
So how Yourdost could help you with your New Year resolution? I think they're very excited about it. We would be launching it soon.
Great. And where do you see yourself and your business in the next 2 to 3 years?
Um, I see being many people using it. Two, I also see us we're in a space where we are more reactive, where people go through something and that's when they reach out to us.
Yep.
I see ourselves to be intelligent, where we reach out to the people and help them before they get into any other situation. So being more proactive is where I see our business going to be.
Great.
Cater very intelligently to
All the best with that. So now we move to a part of the show which is quick fire round, simple, brief answers. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So when people ask you what do you do, how do you answer that?
I run this company called Yourdost.
Okay. What's the first word that comes to mind when I say work,
Love.
family,
Love.
and entrepreneurship,
Hard.
technology,
Amazing.
food?
No word, just the feelings.
Okay. What application are you using for your travel needs?
Application.
Yeah, or web product or technology as such for your travel needs.
I don't think we use any technology.
Okay.
If I do it myself, I use ClearTrip. Otherwise, it's a travel agent who brings it.
Okay. And for your scheduling meetings, etc.
Google Calendar.
All right. And what's a piece of tech you can't live without?
Calendar.
Okay. And what do you excel at that people might not realize?
People skills.
Oh, great. And your favorite city globally?
Bombay.
Okay. And finally, one last thought or piece of advice that you may have forgotten to give our listeners.
You know what? Sometimes, and I've said this earlier as well, sometimes, especially for the people who want to be entrepreneurs or who want to start up, you might find or people might tell you these sectors are very interesting and all that. I'm sure there would be problems that you would always be staring at, or the problems would be staring at you.
Correct.
And those might not be the most lucrative sectors. But believe me, you would have the passion to do it and go for it.
That's true.
It
That's
might
true.
become the most lucrative sector in next 3 months, you don't know. So go for things that you really care about rather than things which people say you should care about.
That's very true. And please let our listeners know how they can reach you and also Yourdost.
You could reach Yourdost at www.yourdost.com. You could
Okay.
reach at yourdost.com.
Great. Again, Richa, thanks for taking the time to talk to us and inspiring our listeners to start their own ventures. And all the very best at building Yourdost.
Thank you so much, Rajiv.
All
Thank
right.
you. Very honored to be here.
Do visit yourdost.com and visit us at theasianentrepreneur.com to get the show notes and subscribe to our show on all the platforms and leave a review on your thoughts about the show. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode. In the meantime, head over to theasianentrepreneur.com and check out show notes and other information to motivate you in your entrepreneurial endeavors.